to call the meeting to order for Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, the regular meeting of the College of Redwoods Board of Trustees. So please rise and join me in the flag and honor of I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to share our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that College of the Redwoods is located on the unceded territory of the Wiyot, Hupa, Karuk, Nakoa, Kalawang, Wailaki, and Yurok people, where they have resided from time immemorial. We encourage all to gain a deeper understanding of their history and thriving culture. As an expression of our gratitude, we are genuinely committed to developing trusting, reciprocal, and long-lasting relationships with the Wiyot people, as well as all of our neighboring tribes. Okay. Do we have any public comments? There are none. Thank you. Member comments, board members. Board member comments? Yes.
No, that's
Right.
okay. I listened to the recording of the government relations webinar on March 17th. It was mentioned this is one of the only in which there was updates on Workforce Pell, mentioning a deadline of April 8th and instructions on submitting comments. And it was mentioned this is one of the only federal state partnerships in higher education. So this is a case where the governor has to set up a list of eligible programs in the state. So different states have different programs, and I thought that was interesting. They also covered budget, legislative highlights, and a report on voter support for baccalaureate degrees in community colleges, which was very positive. Also, I listened to free speech, which President Flamer and Molly Blakemore co-host. Their guest was writer Deshida, who teaches Latin American history here at CR and at Humboldt. It was a pleasure to hear the insight on the recent happenings involving the U.S. and Venezuela. I actually took this class from Professor Deshida, and I can listen to him lecture all day. He's fascinating. It was a good one. So thanks for doing those. I really appreciate it and enjoy each episode. Thank you.
Anyone else? Did you have? Yeah. Vice President.
I attended the board agenda planning meeting.
Trustee Bingham.
Thank you. I listened to the GRC meeting. What was interesting, information about public comment and public input. They were advising us not to just use a boilerplate letter format that comes out from either at CCT or the league, because all those are kind of grouped together as if they're one letter. But if the district just personalizes it in some small way, then it has to be read and entered into the record. And I didn't realize that it got that technical when you're trying to put on public comment. So I thought that was interesting. The other thing I found interesting is the discussion related to Calbright funding. They haven't always had to go by the same formula that the rest of the community college districts do. And it sounds like the LAO is recommending that their dollars be reduced and they have to also be tied into the skill formula as we do, which then will take into account their enrollment and their student outcomes. So I thought that was interesting. Then on the 24th of March, there was the mid-semester celebration on the Hoopa campus, and they really had a great turnout. And 4 of the staff members from CR Cares attended and appreciated President Morrissey's comments about the QTIS mid-semester celebration. And really, I got a chance to talk to the ladies that came, Christine Morse, Samantha Ralston, Phil Carroll, and Sarah Nieto. She's the SAS representative. I had to Google what SAS is because that's a new acronym for me. It's the old DSPS.
Correct.
Funding, which is now changed to the Student Accessibility Support Services. But they came up early, they helped set up, they helped take down, they interacted with students, and they're also working with the dual enrollment students from high school. And the dual enrollment students were also recognized during this celebration, which was the first. That was pretty cool. The Chancellor's Office webinar on the first Wednesday was based on the competency-based programs, and they featured Southwestern College, which does a competency-based program in non-tech, and then Shasta College, which is doing a competency-based program for ECE certificate, which is a total online program that involves 24 units plus 54 hours of practicum. They mentioned 8 other community colleges that also work with testing competency-based degrees. And then lastly, on the 2nd of April, I attended by Zoom the ACES committee, which is the League's Education Advisory Committee. They said that they've had 10 new trustees who completed the ATP and 1 IE certification. I'm hoping that's you.
No,
Oh, okay.
I've been busy.
I just think it was. They were reviewing the final details for the May conference. They had a couple of additions to the agenda, and then also started discussing the student trustee conference. That's that concludes my report. Thank you.
So I would like to mention that on March 4th, at Dean Lane's invitation, I attended the Del Norte Strategic Action Panel to talk about the position and responsibilities of a community college trustee and the responsibilities of the Board of Trustees and the position of one trustee on the Board of Trustees. So I really enjoyed that opportunity. Just a chance to think about how much I enjoy and value the position of trustee and what that's been like. On March 6th and 7th, I was able to see the CR baseball team play Shasta College's in Eureka. I will add that my grandson plays on the Shasta team. It's a little motivation. Here at CCRC. It was fun. On March 17th, I listened to the government relations webinar. Also, I won't repeat all of the things that we said. It is hoped that all of the process for the workforce Pell comes on time, on schedule, and that by fall, we would have programs that students here could apply for workforce Pell grants. We'll see. Sometimes those timelines don't come to pass. But that's the plan. And then on April 1st, I attended the board agenda planning. That brings us to 3.2 board committee reports. Do we have any committee reports? Trustee Rice?
To report on the board self-evaluation committee, we took the input and adjusted the finalized survey, which should be sent out following the president evaluation survey. So that would be April 17th, 18th. I'm not sure which day that would be.
Thank you. Trustee,
I just want to remind board members that the board survey for the for this evaluation was emailed to all of you April 6th. And the due date is April 17th.
Oh, sorry. So,
First, I want to mention, I think the survey for President Val was excellent. I chaired that committee several times, so I thought you guys did a bang up job. I'm here to report about the president's search process and where we are and what we've done. You know, first, my co-chair and I, we thought we cloned Dr. Flamer, so we started looking at DNA, and our consultant said he was just too special to clone.
So you have that in the minutes?
Yeah. So Colleen, Dr. Muller and I have moved on to the logistics of this search process. And first, I need to thank everybody that's participated in it. Jose HR has been incredible help and assistance to us. Julie met with me for half an hour today, as did Jose, in a separate meeting. And we went over just the logistics of planning these two committees, as well as the finalists in the boardroom. And just the ins and outs is just amazing. And I really appreciate that we have Will, our consultant, and that I think we made an outstanding choice, and it's going very well. This last month, the applicant review committee met. We actually have two of the members in the room today. And I want to thank you both on behalf of the board for agreeing to serve on that committee. As Will has said, that the applicant review committee is the heavy, that lifts the heavy weight of the three committees. And hopefully we're going to have a robust pool. So the committee did meet, we did confidentiality, we signed it, we did the final of the training for diversification. We discussed the rating sheets. The rating sheets for the applicants are set to go. There's about 20 criteria. So we're very specific in regards to what we hope to accomplish with that committee. And just to refresh everybody's memory, the applicant review committee does not rate the candidate. Well, they rate the candidates, they do not rank them. And so then that goes on to the interview committee, the second committee. With the second committee, I've already spoken to every member of it, and they've responded back, and we've chatted with them. And we have the meeting scheduled for, I believe, May 6th, where we'll do the final training and go over the actual process. And they will have about 7 days to look at the ratings of the applicant committee, and we'll come together to pick who we will interview. And with the two committees and with our board policy on, I believe, Friday, Colleen, Will, Dr. Mullery, Will, and I, and Jose met, and we went over some potential duplications of the two committees. And we actually have come up with a scoring sheet for the interview committee and how they're going to actually come to the end result of who we're going to interview by Zoom in June. And so that's what we're doing. The big thing, two big things I want to bring to the board's attention is that near the end of the month, Jose is going to be sending out an email to the board saying that there's an email coming from Keenan with the training. Every member of the board must do that training, and you must finish it before the June meeting. So it's incredibly important to do the training, and Keenan says it's 60 minutes, but for those of us that aren't real into this, it's more than 60 minutes. And I'm not going to tell you how many times it took me to pass the test. Jack, I'll help you on the test. Yeah. But don't wait till the last minute. And the training is actually really good. Dr. Mullery will tell you how many questions she missed. No. Yeah, put you on the spot. So we have to have that done. And then in the June meeting, we are going to do the in-person training with HR Jose. And that's going to be part of the agenda. So we'll have that out of the way by the time we go to the July closed session. Because July closed session, as I believe you know, we do before the board meeting. So that we're all not tired and we're all, very in tune to what we're doing. And we have an incredibly robust agenda. And before, and then probably what is the big point, or what everybody wants to hear, is that Dr. Mullery and I and the team are extremely pleased with the pool of applicants at this point in time. And we have just under 2 weeks till closing. So that's what I would like to report. Then we came in late, Dr. Mullery.
I regret I needed to be late today.
No, I didn't mean it that. I didn't know if you wanted to add something. That's why I stayed
Said
there.
it all.
Okay. And you can see Dr. Mulberry still talking to her. I mean,
Well, I will say that having him truly as a co-chair has just been wonderful.
Yeah.
He's really been terrific throughout all this.
yeah, I called Holly again. I said, did you stop talking to me?
Yeah, I seem to be on your speed
Yeah.
these days.
So if there are any questions, we would be happy to answer them.
Which, you say a survey in June, has to be completed before the June meeting or before the July?
June, you must, that's not the survey, the training
The training.
Right. before June, because Jose is going to be doing the in-person training that follows that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you both for continuing work on that, on our whole. That brings us to 3.3, status of board trustee requests. We had one, request there, and any questions or comments? Okay. That brings us to 3.4, the mission statement annual review. This is BP 1200. As you already know, a year ago, we did a substantial review of this policy, following the concerns about DEI issues, vocabulary plans, etc. And I think we did a really good job, because I think this says what we wanted to say, and it's trying to keep us in line, so to speak. But we are open to any comments from any trustees about any further revisions that you think would be appropriate. Questions or comments?
Well,
Yes, trustee Dorn.
the only thing I was reading at this was the first sentence that says, I'm great at the forefront, but then of every strategic effort, that just seemed a little, I don't know, weak, or just in my effort, the word, but I don't have a suggestion of a revision. But I don't know what anybody else thinks.
The word effort.
Strategy.
Yeah, or strategic effort, it seems like it should be more robust.
Or if you just replace strategic effort with strategy. It doesn't.
I like the word strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that much better than effort.
Trustee Bing.
I'm assuming this is an attempt to tie it into our strategic plan, but I think the person in the public realize that. So I don't know if you know what the right word is, because my impression is it's tied to the strategic plan.
I don't know, I honestly didn't read it that way, I just read it every effort on the forefront to move something forward, but always have students in the center of attention.
Exactly.
That being said, I kind of like the word strategy instead of strategic effort. It is the same thing, I believe.
That works for me.
Okay. we can, make that. That it? Anything else? Wonderful, thank you. That moves us to our consent calendar. Any board member may remove an item from the consent calendar and place it under discussion. Any item removed will be voted on separately. Are there any requests to remove an item from the consent calendar? Yes, 4.5. 4.5. Okay. Any other? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 4 and 4.1 through 4.4 and 4.6 through 4.7.
I so move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those say aye.
Aye.
Disapproving, say nay. Okay, that motion has carried. 4.5.
I just want to make a comment about the curriculum committee. There's been several changes the curriculum committee addressed this year, which Professor Craver mentions in his CRFO report, including common course numbering, new processes for establishing GE courses, and the switch to the new system for housing curriculum documents. And I just want to give a shout out to that committee. It's such an important committee, and just I appreciate all the hard work. Also under 4.3, Dr. George Antoniano submitted his retirement paperwork to take effect December of 2028. 2028. And I want to mention his contributions to that committee have been enormous, and to say the least. And he's chaired it several times, and I just want to recognize those contributions. His retirement will be down the road a bit, but thank you.
Thank you. I also had a note to make a comment on the amount of work reported in the curriculum committee minutes. Because as we know, there's been an effort to be sure that all of our curriculum reviews have been up to date. And there's a huge amount of work represented in the long list of courses that have been revised here by the commission, and any updates and improvements, whatever that needed to be. So, yeah, so big load all around. Okay, do I hear an approval for item 4.5?
I move to approve 4.5.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. That brings us to our action discussion items. The first one being approve the monthly financial status report. And could I hear a motion, please?
I so move.
I second it.
Okay, President Flammer?
I do not have anything to add to the background unless the trustees do, or does Vice President Morrison have anything else to add?
I did not have anything to add, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions on this financial report from the board? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again for all that lays behind the report. 5.2, authorize sale of construction technology house number 50 at 1650 Allard Avenue in Eureka, with a $380,000 listing price, and authorize the president superintendent to accept a reasonable offer and to execute the required documents. Do I hear a motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. Been moved and seconded. Discussion, questions, comments? President Flamer, do you have any?
Happy to.
Trustee Rice?
How long is it, for how many years has the program been?
That's actually not an easy question to answer. We have been in this business for
Many years.
30 something years thereabouts. There was a time where the budget for the construction of the housing was zeroed out. And it's taking a few years to get back in track to make sure that there's enough money in that fund for the faculty to buy a lot, to then build and then sell. So it's very nice and healthy. But we've been in this business for
I think there's years we've had more than one house.
Two.
yes, that's after the reinstated our funding, yes.
Okay, trustee.
And then now there are a couple.
I know for a fact it's 34 years at least, because when I did my real estate broker classes, we used to market the homes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they tied in, they used to offer all the brokers classes here. And so we would market the house.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I knew at least that.
Very cool.
It is a very cool program. Brings together a lot of different classes and skills. It's a great, I think, a great public representation of the college. Anything else? Okay, all those in favor of approving this authorized sale, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to 5.3, to approve the Equal Employment Opportunity Plan. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. The plan is, in your packet. President Finer, did you have any comment?
Certainly, and it's taken, as the board knows, it's taken a few months to finally get a plan approved through the chancellor's office as well as approved. So this plan is before you now, so it's been done through the chancellor's office as approved, and then they can release the funding as already been allocated to the college. The next time that we have to submit a plan is November of next fall. And I have asked HR to start that process of planning the plan, starting this, so we're not going to fall behind.
So November 26th
Correct.
is updated and,
Right.
and
Yes.
any comment? Trustee Big.
This used to be on our agenda on a regular basis, and I'm so glad to see it back on the agenda. It looks so comprehensive. It looks like it's been really well done. I'm really pleased to see it on the agenda this month.
Any other comment? Trustee Kagami?
I'm just wondering on page 2, and then I noticed on page 6 too, it's already, it mentions DEI. And I didn't know if that was a problem.
It's a problem for the Trump administration, but it is not a problem for California because that's already next in the law.
I would just like to comment, how good, how well done I thought the opening 3 pages of statement of philosophy and approach to that for the college was.
Agreed.
I think it's very well written and gives us all, something specific to refer to every once in a while, remind ourselves the business we're in. Any other questions or comments? Trustee Biggins?
Trying to find the pages, so here we go. The pre-hiring and post-hiring implementation strategies, I was really pleased to see. And we see who's responsible for each strategy, but how will we as trustees know that it's actually happening?
I would comment that is a responsibility we have delegated to our president.
Our president, okay, so
To be sure that it's.
I think I used to be on the committee for the league to discuss the EEO plan, and the vision that we have for districts, and this encompasses that vision. An important part of that was pre and post hiring strategies. So hopefully the next president will, be on top of it.
Thank you. Without further comment, all those in favor of approving the EEO plan for 26-29, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And the next item, 5.4, approve the 10-year report and effective contracts. Do I hear a motion?
Nice, I move approval.
A second.
Second, thank you. President Flamer, do you have any additional comments about this?
I do not, but I will answer questions that the trustees have
Okay,
in for me.
I appreciated the background information that you sent to us, and I personally, and I suspect the board fully appreciate the approach of counting, so to speak, service in the same job regardless of where the funding comes from, because the college benefits regardless whether it's external funding, internal funding, and it builds that experience in our staff and faculty. So, I was happy to see that. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the 10-year report, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Oh, sorry.
I need to abstain from that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I need to abstain.
Okay, that's fine. One abstention. Thank you. We now move on to informational reports. The first of those is recognitions. President Planner.
As always, this is my favorite part of the meeting, just to recognize outstanding faculty staff. Now, we have a lot of outstanding colleagues here, but I just want to highlight just a few this month. I really want to talk about the staff that we wrote the letters of commendation for the active shooter incident. That is not an easy thing to sit through, whether it's a drill or you think it's a drill, but it's also active. And they did not know. And thank God that it was not an active shooter, but we treated it as such. And the staff did an extremely good job keeping people calm and doing what they're supposed to do. I want to recognize them and also in their personnel class. That's the only real comment I have in this issue.
Thank you. And I appreciated the information about things learned that can be addressed, and it's about the only way you can identify some of those.
Absolutely.
Okay, that brings us to 6.2, Del Norte update with our dean, Dr. Kristen Lena. Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. We're not sure.
Is the mic on? We have to make sure the mic is on.
Is the mic on?
Is there a red light?
There is now.
You're
We're on. Sit. Stand.
Your call.
I think we're better at standing. Thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here, Justin, to values and all the members of the board and our executive team. I do want to introduce Lauren Cortez. She is our student services specialist, and she makes so many things happen for the Del Norte campus that this would not be possible without her. So I'm excited to have her here with us. And you'll see we're going to kind of train off about the update. Have we heard of that? PowerPoints? No. But we love pictures. So that's where we're going with this, and hope that you enjoy a kind of an update and bringing the excitement and we're contagious about really bringing people to the campus, and this is our opportunity to bring that to you. So we can go to the first slide. So all of our work has really been focused around the blueprint for the future. You've all had a chance to look at it. It has 4 core themes on it. It's enrollment in programs, community partnerships, facilities, and funding. Today, we're going to talk about how we're doing our community partnerships and what that looks like, what will be in the blueprint, but also just some what's happening on campus. Next. So then, what is a community partnership? We had to define it for ourselves. You can kind of go through the whole slide. We didn't. So we looked at the definition, and kind of ever-changing connection. We wanted it to be that we would look at all the different types of partnerships. What's it? It's not. What does it look like? And then how do we do that through our personal connections, our outreach activities, social media, and targeted markets. We also looked at formal and informal partnerships and how we exploited this. That was kind of like our foundation. What is a community partnership? Then we just never know when a partnership will come up. So this is why we've already looked at is our partnership with the city of Crescent City to bring the Tallwood display to the campus. It started with just attending an event, asking about the pictures, figuring out that they would be willing for them to be displayed in our student commons, and really looking at what that kind of partnership is. We just never know. And that's why we're always asking for people to come on the campus and see what we have. And this is an opportunity. So we did have quite a few visitors who showed up just to see it, which was super exciting because they had never been on the Del Mar campus. And so to bring in these different people who had maybe lived there for their entire lives. And so they were excited to see it. It did fill our room. We were sad to see it go. It went to the airport next. And so that's kind of just the rotation of it. And it will finally be at the Tallulah Cultural Trail when you get a chance to come up to Del Mar and be able to see that. You'll see these pictures, but also a lot of history of the Tallulah Nation. And all of the cultural trails there is Front Street. So we have formal partnerships. You know about them because they're all approved here. So we have our Pelicans Bay State Prison and all of our programs that we have with that. You're going to be hearing a lot about our partnership with them in the near future. We also now have DNAGA. So DNAGA is the Del Norte Association of Cultural Awareness. And they provide art for our walls, 2 exhibits here, and then other things that we're going to, and just having a partnership about art. We also have to do a moment, the CCAP agreement, and then of course all the contracts. We can go to the next one. So Starting Back Art Display is on display right now. The student commons, there's on the left is kind of a focus in on some of the display. And then next week, we have the stories of Steinbach. So the artist is coming to our campus and doing a presentation for both our creative writing and our English class that happens right then. And it's from 6 to 7. So all of this really came out of our partnership with DNAGA to say, this is something we can do. We'd like to do that. We'd like to expose our students to more art and more cultural awareness. So next one is
another great event that we've been able to establish with Dr. Nima coming on is our Guidance Day. And so this is an opportunity for folks in the community in Del Norte that guide students in high school to come over and learn a little bit more about what we're doing on our campus. We had a lot of shifts in our scheduling to align closer with when the high schools are releasing for each period. So that way students can come over and take classes with us through dual enrollment. And then we also invited our neighbors over in Oregon because we have that Oregon agreement with tuition. So we actually did have someone come from Gold Beach that relocated recently. She's a counselor at Gold Beach High School. And so she was able to get good information for her students. And that ended up turning into a campus tour with 10 Oregon students that were interested specifically in the Del Mar campus. They got a hold of main campus and said, no, we want to see Del Mar. So that was very exciting for us. And through this day, we're able to also, we're able to clarify the dual enrollment process because we've added the CCAP. And so that was a really strong partnership with all of the guiding folks in the community, understanding how students can be successful at CR, whether that's at their high school campus, at Del Mar High, or through dual enrollment without a CCAP at the Del Mar campus or online learning.
So more of our informal partnerships, we have a lot of community engagement. One is the Chamber of Commerce now meets every month on campus on a Friday, so the board of directors meet there. That's kind of an informal, they just use our space. But it also brought them into campus. I had one community member who was on the board of directors, who's actually now president, said she'd only been on campus twice in her entire career in her life in Del Mar. She went to Del Mar High, left when she was 18, came back, and been on campus twice. She's been on the campus at least 10 times in all this year, so that's been great. We have guest speakers that come in. We talked about the DADACA, but anytime we can get the Career Center, we can host them. We also hosted with Pelican Bay, they were looking for a hiring event. They were here during spring break. They were so excited because they had a 400% increase. Well, that they hired 4 people that day, which was so and then a lot of events. And so Lauren's going to talk about a lot of those events we have.
Thank you. So there's a lot of ways that we engage in events in Del Mar. And so one of the ways is through tabling with information. We support our community partners by showing up and showing our community that we're there, and we're happy to share information about what it is that we do. And then another community event that we offer specific for our students is community lunches. And these are once a month. And it's an informal opportunity for our students to come and learn about community services. So I have community partners that come in and do presentations, and also interacting with our staff and faculty in informal environments, right? So they get to know who is there to support them outside of the classroom and outside of an office meeting. And it's really nice. So some of the ones we had today or this year was our scholarships. We also had the blood bank drive and our first welcome week. And we're really excited to be able to continue those. And then one of our last ways that we do events is with our Del Mar Unified School District outreach activities. This is a really unique opportunity in partnership with our K-12 district because we are able to support the Youth Wellness Summit series, and that gives us an opportunity to reach every 6th, 8th, and 12th grader in the Del Mar County. And we are in our 3rd year of participating in those activities.
So all of those efforts the last year or so and getting out to the community, there was a lot of interest from the community to become more involved with the campus. Starting from the President's Advisory Council, members have stepped up. They were actively involved in that, but now they were interested in creating one at the campus. We called it the Strategic Action Panel because just like you were talking about the words before, action was important to us. If we were going to ask community members to be involved, what is the action that they could do? So Kevin Hartwick and Gina Satola are co-chairs for that. And I just listed the names of all the people who are involved. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they do. For each person, we asked them for a 30-month commitment and said, we need you for 30 months. And it's a once a month and it requires action. And every single one of these people said yes, including the school district superintendent, as she was just talking about those outreach. He has a full plan of every single time that CR can connect with the student in 5 different times during their career as a K-12 student, and then coming to us. We also have the city manager, the CEO of the hospital, the chamber director, multiple small business owners. We also have real estate agents, our tribal partners as well. Just the list is there. Last but not least is definitely our CR Foundation. We have 3 members from there as well. So it is a very large committee. We never thought we would have 20. Very excited that President Matthews came and spoke to them. They were engaged and interested about all what you do, but also about how they can support. And anytime we ask of something, they're like, how do we make it happen? And they're there. So they do have a 30-month commitment, as I said. If you go to the next slide, these are kind of the things that they would like to focus on. Innovation and program development. Particularly, they want to look at how they can have a trades-based pathway as well as our healthcare. We know that that's one of focuses for this year as we're building the new training center and how can we support more in healthcare. Then strengthening the college going culture with local schools, and the last is cultivating all the strong partnership that you see there. Some of the example events is Lauren is organizing a 4th grade event. It used to be called I'm Going to College or something like that. The last time that we had it was March 10th of 2020. So you can imagine there's been a 6-year break, and they were excited about doing this. They have funded everything for it, from the t-shirts to renting the stage, making sure that the students have food, making it to be that it's an investment. We are also going to have hands-on activities and 3 different pathways for them to try, so that it's very engaging for 4th graders. We wanted it to be that they discover ZR, and that's the focus of Lauren and the team from the high school, not the high school, it's K-12 actually, are doing for that. And they are also really interested in helping us find places if we need them for other types of programming. We know that we have to relocate our healthcare building during this construction. What does that look like? And they are actively talking about it in every one of the meetings. Thank you. So one of the other things is that they decided to show up, and this is the mixer that happened just a few weeks ago, was also the recognition. Please note our student comments and how beautiful and engaging of the space that is. It's where a lot of students come to collaborate and find students involved all the time. Awesome.
And we will end on something fun. So we have increased the food access on the CR Del Norte campus, and for those that have been around for a long time, that has been an issue. And so we're really excited to have Casitas Coffee and the lunchbox available to our students, staff, faculty, but also the high school students that walk across the parking lot, come on to CR's campus, hang out on their benches. And so it's another opportunity, honestly, for outreach and partnerships. So we invite you to come up and come enjoy lunch with us at Del Norte, and we thank you so much for your time. We also thank and recognize every single staff, faculty member that helped make this happen in Del Norte. We could not do it without our team up there. It's like a little family, and we're really appreciative of them.
She took the words, definitely. We're very proud of our Del Norte team, and there was recognition, but really our maintenance and operations teams are the ones that help us make all these events happen, and we couldn't go without them. We just want to make sure that they have their reach as well. We'd also like to look forward to seeing you at Pelican Bay graduation on the 14th, as well as at Del Norte graduation on the 15th. And then if you happen to be going to the Del Norte County Fair, we are going to also be there for Saturday for the rodeo. And so encouraging people for the rodeo, encouraging people to wear their CR gear. And so we'll be out, and that's what we'll be tabling for the fair this year. So thank you. We'll give this, it's August 8th. And yes, so thank you for having us. And if you have any questions, we're here.
Oh, I would just like to comment, thank you. I think I want to just briefly recognize, in addition to the community partnerships and events, outreach on campus, et cetera, that Dr. Neva's community involvement and participation on many committees and organizations that I can't name all of them, and really has helped to make the campus very visible in the community, because she's always enthusiastic and talking about college, and she's been on many, not only the chamber board, but many other boards or memberships and committees. And she attends a lot of community events. So she is out there all the time. And that's really, I think, brought the college's people's attention. Trustee Torn.
Yes, I love the photos. They kept my attention through the whole presentation.
Yay.
Yeah, but Dr. Flavor, I was wondering, is it possible to get a short update on construction and also how the staff is dealing with the construction. When we were up there for the town halls, there was quite a bit of anxiety about it. Is that appropriate this time or?
I guess, I mean, you're gonna ask me if there's something.
Well, or, yeah,
No, I prefer to talk about that as we get
okay, that's what I asked you.
across the whole pond.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me come.
Happy to.
Okay, that brings us to 6.3, the iPads report. Dr. Moffett, is she going to be with us?
She's
I'm
right.
I snuck in. I'm just looking around. Thank you for being here.
Can you put me up on the PowerPoint line? Thank you. I am here to talk about a report that we get from iPads every year. There are 28 figures, so I only wanted to do 3 highlights. I didn't want to go through every single data point, especially after a fun more presentation. So you will have, one of the links is the actual report. And then one of the links is my PowerPoint presentation. And Sheila's working her magic to get that. There it is. Thank you. So really wanted to just provide 3 main highlights. But first, the methods. iPads is our reporting to the federal government to get financial aid for our students under Title IV. This report comes from a comparison group that they put together of 12 other California community colleges. All of those colleges are small or mid-size. They serve rural or semi-rural regions. They're not in metro areas, and they offer on-campus housing. So that's kind of our cohort of comparison group. I also just want to make a big point that all of this is lagging data. So this comes from data that I submitted last year, but it's from our academic year 23-24. Next. Okay. So highlight number 1 is that our percentages are greater than the comparison group for these 2 indicators. The percent of students who were awarded grants, scholarships, and loans. So we're doing really well with making sure that our students are receiving financial aid. So any grant aid, federal grants, Pell grants, institutional grants. And also those who are degree-seeking students who are getting Pell grants and other kind of federal loans. We're doing better than our comparison group. Highlight number 2, we're not doing as well as the comparison group for our retention rates. So this is students who were here in fall of 2023 and they returned in fall of 2024. So, and they break that out for full-time students and part-time students. And then highlight number 3 is we're not doing as well as the comparison group for our graduation rates for the 2021 cohort and our time to completion for the 2020 cohort. So those, and this is a very thin slice of the pie how they've done this. So it's first-time students who are full-time, and then are they getting their degree in 3 years, so 150% normal time to degree. So we are at 34% versus the
group at 41%. And then also the other little slice of pie as far as, the 2020 cohort and, time to completion. So that's what I wanted to highlight, today. If there were any questions.
Dr. Vaughn?
So on the last one, 34% versus the 41%, exactly how many students is that?
That is a good question. I don't have that number right now.
Okay. I mean, but is it 5 or 20 or? Not a clue. Okay,
They're reporting in percentages.
Right.
Yeah,
but it'd be nice to actually know the
we
real
want the
number.
actual end, yes.
Yeah.
And that was, you were talking about figure 16, so I'm just saying that
Yes.
out loud because I do have IR staff with me.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I think looking at percentages is great, but it'd be nice to know the real number, because is it 5 or 20 or 50?
You can see if we can get it.
Okay.
Any comments?
If I may.
Yes, President Clymer?
When we started reporting out on this data, I questioned the utility of the numbers. And that we seem to have just, in the past, just provided numbers with no usefulness. And you could talk about how the government uses this data now. It may be helpful to understand how they come to have some usefulness.
So IMHES is used just to provide information publicly so that anyone, so it's just transparent information. How we report is that, basically we are using our MIS numbers. So MIS is the reporting to our chancellor's office for the state. We kind of pre-populate the MIS numbers, and that's what we give to the federal government. It's really for transparency for students and parents to go and look at our percentages and do their shopping for where they want to go is how I think of it. But it is very important that we submit because this is how the federal government kind of says if we do not do this data submission, they will take away our financial aid.
When I'm looking at the percentage of the first time students getting financial aid, I think, I was looking at it and thinking, well, not only, does this just mean we're doing, does this mean we're doing a better job? But does this also reflect a higher percentage of our students who are eligible for financial aid?
That's a great point. Yes. Yes.
And I think there's some connection. The other thing about lagging data is that we know how we are continuing to make many efforts on many fronts. So we're not, we can't see where we are today. But I do think that there's a relationship between percentage of your new first-time, full-time students who are low income and some of the difficulty in retention and completion rates. So it's not the whole picture, but I think it has to be the way.
And I want to put just my last plug in for the institutional research office and what we're working on with the data warehouse, where we can have real-time data, not this lagging data, and be able to provide data that we can act on and make a difference on.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for pointing out to me that she's sitting right in front of me. Okay, that brings us to 6.4, presentation of the California School Employees Association College of Graduates Chapter 509, initial bargaining proposals. Those is in your packet. President Flamer, do you have any comment?
I do not, as an informational item, the district will also present its initial proposal.
Okay, that brings us to organizational reports. And first on our list is Academic Senate and President Bernadette Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you. I wasn't able to submit a written report this time around, but I do have a few verbal things I'd like to share. The first thing, most exciting, I think, for me, but for everyone, is that we have a really effective leadership structure for the upcoming Senate term, which will now be 2 years instead of 1, which we think will be a lot better for the learning curve. It's a lot to learn and fast. So I'm very excited to introduce to you Wendy Riggs of LG faculty, who will be our new president beginning in the 2026 year. Our vice president, Jennifer Burleson, is also a counselor, and will be our vice president beginning with Wendy for the 2-year term as well. So congratulations and thank you for them in advance. Number 2 for me is I'll be attending the ASCCC spring plenary. Leave tomorrow for that, and I'll be representing as the delegate, our voting delegate for CR. So we have I don't know, 20, 30 resolutions to be voting on. So I'll be doing my reading. The third thing is I just want to thank Amy for hosting the Institutional Effectiveness Summit and for me as be a part of that. So Colin Shapiro and John Pace and I facilitated a discussion of, to build on the assessment survey that was conducted. And so we had a dialogue with folks that were there. We got into groups and talked about how to make assessment more meaningful. And that was a really good dialogue. And the final thing would be just a fun and happy announcement that our final portion, I guess we could call it our final portion of the Let's Talk series will be beginning. This is the Quilt Project. Not sure if you're totally familiar, but if not, I'll share with you what it's about. So we have a chance to use art as a mechanism for belonging, think of it like that. And so each campus is going to host a workshop, and the same format will be done, slight modifications to the location. And what folks will be able to do is take a 5x5 cardstock. This is not fabric, this is paper, it's collage, 5x5 square, and create something that represents an answer to the question, what brings us together. And so that will happen April 9th in Del Norte during the community lunch. Lauren's going to pick up some supplies today for me. And then at Plymouth Trinity on April 29th and Eureka on May 6th. And our hope is that once those individual pieces are created, the next phase of the project next year will be to assemble them into a quilt, a collage quilt, that then could be displayed and hung in each location, maybe with some written acknowledgement of the process. So there'll be an opportunity for folks to engage in the creation of that and the installation of those. So this will be an ongoing project that we're doing. So I'm just grateful to the folks at Del Norte and Plymouth Trinity to help me coordinate being able to have this at each campus. And that's all. I'll take any other questions.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to CRFO. President Eric Kramer, welcome.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna read my report. So thank you, Board of Trustees, for having us. As this semester moves on, we've seen a lot of questions arise regarding the processes and collective bargaining agreement. CRFO prioritizes the collective bargaining agreement over any particular outcome and respects the individual styles administrators have in implementing processes. I look at the collective bargaining agreement as giving us a framework and establishing certain boundaries, but still leaving room for how the individual works within that, whether it's an administrator or faculty. I'd like to commend the work of faculty on the curriculum committee in the effort to get our curriculum documents up to date. There have been many new things for the college to deal with regarding curriculum, including common course numbering, new processes for establishing GE courses, and the impending switch to a new system for housing and curriculum documents. CRFO continues to work with district representatives on a variety of issues. I believe these discussions are important to maintain fairness among faculty, employees, as well as to get work done that is crucial to the college. These discussions have been very collegial this semester, with both sides giving room to express different points of view and listening to all the issues with fairness and interest. Wish everyone a good remainder of this spring term. We're well past halfway through.
Yeah.
That's some questions.
Thank you very much. Classified President Rachel Worsey. Welcome.
I did. Sorry. I wanted to add a few recognitions. The first, slightly an introduction, you've already met Lauren Cortez, but she is our Vice President of Del Mar for CSEA. She is an excellent advocate and leader up there. And so I'm excited she was here in person so I could introduce you to you all. Another fun fact, half of our e-board, so 3 of the 6 are Del Mar employees, which is pretty unique for us. And then a couple other recognitions. I wanted to take a moment to recognize the campus safety officers that were actively responding during the lockdown. Josh Stanley, Jesus Hernandez, and Sam Cuckins, also maintenance specialist 2, Adrian Dobson. They were actively locking down buildings and in a very vulnerable situation. So we owe them a big recognition and gratitude for them. And that is all.
Any questions? Excuse me. Trustee Pedroia.
Just a comment, seems like the PAC community that formed will be, great, it's a great idea and will be very beneficial.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. I think a lot of times we get overwhelmed by things in the world and we have to just take a step back and look at what we can in our circle of influence and start there. So I'm really excited about that committee. They're really eager and I think it's gonna be a really great thing. Thanks.
Yes, Trustee Bateman.
I want to thank you for your thorough description of the KTIS Mid-Semester Celebration that's been going on for many years. And this is a great summary of what it's all about.
Thank you. Giselle helped me write some of it, so I can't take full credit, but yeah, we're really excited about that event and the KT staff doing an amazing job every semester doing that. So we want to highlight them. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. That brings us to Management Council and President Leader. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. You have my written report. I don't have anything to add, but I'm happy to take questions. Just work on this.
Thank you for the report and for being here. And that brings us to our student trustee, Shelton. Welcome. We're glad to see you.
I'm glad to be here. I don't have anything to report today at this meeting, but I'm currently working on a report for the next meeting that hopefully also includes some pictures and information, some updates on what ASU has been doing for the past couple months.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And that brings us to our administrative reports, 8.1. President Flamer.
Thank you, trustees. I shared with you the executive summary that was wonderfully prepared by Dr. Lewis about what we're doing at Pelican Bay. And she and I went to the Del Mar campus yesterday and had a nice, honest discussion with the Pelican Bay group, and I think that it went very well, and I think that, they were very, very free to give us their opinion. And I think that they listened extremely well, so. Next steps, what we want to do is, I'm going to consult with my executive cabinet plus the Senate and talk about what of the actions that was initially drafted, which ones that I would like to move forward with. But also work to work together to understand if there are additional actions that we want to put in place. Yeah, our goal is not to go backwards with this at all, but how we can build the program to even be stronger as we move forward. What is extremely key is that the prison warden and his staff, but also every one of our staff, which I've won, understands the importance of this program. That there's no one who's not supportive, if you will. And it's very, very strong. So although the event that happened on February 6th was very traumatic, not just for the prison, but for our staff. It's important to remember that we've had years of things going really well. And this did actually indicate that we still have some work to do to make sure that we move forward as a district for this moment. And again, please remember how important this is, not just to the district, but those prison inmates who rely on us for their vision and their hope. And we have to keep that in mind as we move forward. The other thing we're going to mention, that President Trump did release his budget last Friday. In addition to the $1.5 trillion more that he wants to add for our defense, that he is also making some moves to reduce funding to the Department of Ed in its way to eliminate it. Of course, he cannot eliminate it without Congress, but he will do his best to defund it, and that's what he's going to continue to do. But also, he also is going to, the proposal is to preserve Pell Grant so far, but also proposes to cut federal work study from $1.23 billion to $123 million. Significant. He's not going to get rid of Pell Grants. Get federal work study. But he's on his way to do so. But he's also proposing to eliminate TRIO again. Now, TRIO has a significantly strong lobby, but also clearly we have to keep in mind that the White House has to fund the war in some way. Either we borrow against their grandchildren, or we start cutting funding to do something. So we will see what happens over the next several months of Congress. But I'm following that very closely, and I will continue to keep you updated. And let's talk the rodeo. I am very happy to say that we have 3 student athletes that will be done in Poly Royal in this weekend. So let me see if I can get their names correct. Cora Killerhead, she is participating in barrel racing, which is what my grandpa does. And Mackenzie Frick, barrel racing and breakaway roping. And Vivian Arnaz, barrel racing. So we have 3 student athletes competing this weekend. And the weather right now in Cal Poly has an outdoor arena, so it's going to be very rainy. So when I get pictures, I'll most certainly send that. So this is, again, first year of the team, and we have 3 people competing in an extremely major event. Very proud. And I can take any questions and comments from the trustees.
Any questions? Thank you. Thank you for the medical budget update. That brings us to 8.2, Vice President of Administrative Services, Leah Morrison. Okay, thank you.
I didn't have anything to add to the report, but did anyone have any questions?
So I'm curious when you mentioned the solar in the dorms, and I thought, and maybe I'm confused with resident, but I thought in California there was a mandatory percentage that had to go into solar. And is that with the dorms as well, besides what you're talking about?
I don't know the details as far as percentages though. I just know that as for the Title 24 requirements for new facilities, that we had to have some type of a solar project tied to it. And we had been making on utilizing the footprint power project.
What about the arts building? Didn't we have solar with that? Or-
There is no solar.
No, okay. Because I think residential would be interesting with I thought Newsom had the percentage of the budget had to be solar, but yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other comment? Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Vice President of Instruction and Student Development, Dr. Crystal Morris.
Good afternoon. One additional comment to the written report, and that's just to share the news that College of the Redwoods was selected for the Nursing Infrastructure Rebuild Grant Round 2 in the amount of $1.3 million.
Wow.
So, pending Board of Governors approval at their May meeting, we will see that funding descend out. Other than that, happy to address any questions.
Did they also get additional money for healthcare? I don't, much longer, 1.3 million. How much was that recent grant?
The other grant was $325,000.
Yes.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say good photos.
I think those were taken by members of the audience.
Well,
for
we can
the
take
page today.
Trustee Biggie.
I thought the TV coverage was excellent. You know, the interviews that they did, those that were, coordinating it. And it was nice to see the collaboration between the Northern California Indian Film Council as well as the district. It was just an excellent day. And thank you for all those that were involved in creating it for the students. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to Executive Director of College Advancement and the Foundation, Martin Bell. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, trustees. Just a couple of things to add to my report. We held our first CR dinner and auction meeting today. So I'd like to cordially invite you to the event on August 13th. If you happen to know someone who would like to sponsor the event, purchase the table for the event, donate items to the event, you can steer them my way. That would be appreciated. Last thing to add is the foundation has been partnering with our Native American staff, garnering resources to bring Native speakers to campus. And we've begun working again with Coach Elmore on his Native American running camp and the Native American building trails course. Any questions? Okay.
But Happy Trails working for the auction.
Happy Trail.
It's
collaborative.
The long trail.
Yes, it is. It's good for people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that brings us to item 9 on our agenda, future agenda items, reports, requests for information. The only one I recall from the meeting was the construction update, which is also coming already. Anything else from any trustees? No? Okay. I will take just a moment to remind you all about the President Evaluation Survey, which we have already received, and about the Board Evaluation Survey to follow. My best experience has been to remember to do it early in the 8:30. Okay. Without anything further, meeting is adjourned.